This time it's a left-hand corner. Just go into second gear, short shift up to third gear, and then go into fourth gear, into a very quick left-hander, which is a little bit off camber, very cold, and it's very unbalanced for the car. Then we come to a second gear or third gear corner. It depends on what the tires are at the moment, which follows up to a third gear, very quick chicane. It's almost flat, which leads to a tender up to the back straight. Here you're revving up till 1000 RPM, fifth gear. Going into a very fast chicane, right, left, third gear chicane. Then going up to a right-hander. It's third gear right-hander, also off camber, very difficult. Onto a second gear corner, just to go up the straight. Then you shift up to third, fourth, and fifth gear. And then you have completed the complete lap. If you do it in 1:24, you probably will have pole position.
In fact, Heijmans managed a 1:24 lap, but 1:23 was what was required for pole, and that was set by the Conrad Motorsport Celine. So the Conrad Motorsport car on the front row of the grid with Heijmans and Kumpen alongside.
Franz Conrad, your team is German, and so this is the home race. Is this an important race for you?
Sure, of course. This is the most important race for us. Even it's not our German race. It's even very close to my city where I'm living. And we had a really hard time in the beginning of the season. The car was showing immediately we quick, and we never can finish the race. We had a gearbox problem. Now I think everything is right, and now it's time to win this home race.
Now, we've been told this is quite a narrow circuit, and your cars are one of the largest and the longest and widest. Is this very difficult for you then?
No, I think it's not difficult in this position where we are. So I think in this position where we are, it's better the car is wider and longer. No, it's very tricky here, and I think this is the most problem we will have in the race, the overtaking with the slower cars. And that's what I told my drivers. This is the important thing. They care. Just lose 1-2 seconds is no problem, and don't crash the cars and don't hang on a slow car. And we must finish this race, and then we have a chance to win it.
So Franz Conrad, of course, on pole position. The wider your car is when you're leading, the better it will be for you. Mike Heijmans starting alongside. It's Walter Lechner Jr. who will take the first stint in the Conrad Motorsport car. In third place on the grid, another Celine, and that is the car of Thomas Erdos and Mike Newton from Graham Nash Motorsport. Mike Heijmans starting the Force One Festina Viper, second place on the grid. And his teammate, Philippe Alliot, sharing with David Halliday, qualified fourth. The two Force One Festina cars going very well indeed. Still life in the old Viper dog yet. In the NGT category, the 52 JMB Racing Ferrari, Andrea Bertolini and Fabrizio Di Simone. Ahead of this car we ride with now, Jamie Davison, Darren Turner. Turner starting the car. Ortellian Liebs, Freisinger Porsche third. Kevin Burt and Tim Mullen in the 89 Team Maranello Concessionaires 360 Modena, fourth in the NGT class. Fifth, the Kaufmann, Grimm and Bilieri Porsche, and sixth in that category, Tim Sugden and Emmanuel Collard. In fact, they are fifth in the category because Kaufmann, Grimm and Bilieri are in a GT car. So Tim Sugden claiming fifth place. And fastest at one stage in the morning warm-up before an engine failure. However, great work by the MK team allows the 61 car to take its place on the grid. 74 back, Jordan and Sumter, and so too the 75 car. Both Eurotech cars returning after financial problems prevented them going to Anderstorp. Both the Eurotech cars on site. Unfortunately, no start for Mark Mail and Ian Kahn in their car for the weekend. Had an engine malady in the morning warm-up and failed to make it onto the rolling grid. Other than that, everybody else pretty much ready to go. Ready for 3 hours, 130 laps plus, judging by the race pace. And already cars on the grass, and further back as the field gets concertina up behind the race leaders. Mike Heijmans on the left of picture, starting quicker, takes the lead into the first corner. And the Conrad Celine in second place, Graham Nash Motorsport Celine in third. Contact between the Lister on the inside there, going over the dirt, Jamie Campbell-Walter and Philippe Alliot in the Forswem Festina Viper, as Campbell-Walter tried to get his way through. And he is, in fact, in front of Alliot. Campbell-Walter in fourth place, on board in the TMC Ferrari. In front of him, one of the JMB 550s. And a very busy opening half lap so far for the main pack. Two Lister Storms, Andrea Piccini starting the second one, sandwiching Philippe Alliot. Behind them, the points leaders. Thomas Biaggi, Matteo Bobi will share the 23 car. Then the yellow, and two cars further back, the blue Creation Auto Sportive cars. The other car, incidentally, that did not take the start was the first, or the faster, no, in fact, the slower of the JMB cars, the faster, but it had a qualifying time disallowed, and that was the number 9 car of Philippe Pater. Philippe Pater and Fabio Barbini unable to start the race. They too had an engine failure in the morning warm-up, and it's obviously less of a problem to change it in a Porsche than it is in a Ferrari 550 Maranello. So end of the first lap then, Viper leading yet again. We've seen it so many times over the last few years in the history of this championship. Viper's still a competitive car in the FIA series. So have a look again at the start as they get the green, the yellow Conrad Celine on the right-hand side. Walter Lechner Jr. having to give best to the extremely quick start of Anthony Kumpen, and Kumpen's teammate behind, touching Jamie Campbell-Walter as Campbell-Walter gets pushed over the dirt on the inside. And the lead trio breaking away. The Festina Force One Viper, the Conrad Celine, and Thomas Erdos in Graham Nash Motorsport Racing's Celine in third place. Jamie Campbell-Walter, Philippe Alliot and Andrea Piccini. Lister, Viper, Lister. That's the next little clump. Then Biaggi with Jean-Marc Gounon in the yellow Lister Storm, coming through shot now. Fabrizio Golin, the Anarim, and then Bobby Verden-Rowe. The Anarim in the all-Portuguese crewed Graham Nash Motorsport Celine. Lock up from Hazemans, showing just how hard he's trying to stay in the lead of the race, and using all the curbs and every bit of runoff area available to him. In the face of an attack from not one but two of the Celine S7s, he certainly needs to work the old Viper very hard indeed. Onto the stretch and heading down across the line at the end of lap 2, and already Tony Seiler looking for a way through. Tony Seiler not yet. Walter Lechner Jr. looking for a way through on the inside into the first turn, and that's really just an unsettling manoeuvre, and I don't think it will have done much to unsettle Hazemans. I think he would have been mightily surprised if anybody had seriously been trying to make a move down there into the left that leads into the long right-handed hotel. The first sequence of corners here, out of the Hasselrode corner and heading down into this long left-hand section. And see how far over to the left of the picture Thomas Erdos was on the racing line. The race leader defending hard, Anthony Kumpen. Mike Hazemans was 4 or 5 car lengths away from the racing line in the middle of the road, and all of that defensive work is compromising his speed. He's got Walter Lechner Jr. bottled up right behind him, and Jamie Campbell-Walter starting to ease away from Philippe Alliot's 5th place Viper is catching this train. And that shows that the Festina cars, quick in qualifying though they were, may not have race day pace to match the front-running Celines and Lister Storms. At the moment, though, you don't have to be going quickly. You just had to get away nicely from the start. Yellow flags further back there. That was Magnus Wallander in the Henrik Roos Motorsport Chrysler Viper being attended to for some reason on the side of the track. So a short day perhaps for them. And Hazemans, the race leader, certainly feeling a lot of pressure from young Walter Lechner Jr. Son of a famous racing father, Walter Lechner. He's got a brother, Robert, who's racing for Zakspeed in the V8 Star Series in Germany, doing well in that as well, teamed up with Pedro Lamy. Those two Zakspeed run cars, the class of the field. And Walter Lechner Jr. not only racing in the FIA Series, also turned his hand to partnering Franz Conrad in a couple of American Le Mans Series races during the summer, non-clashing events, and racing Porsche Super Cup as well in recent years, trying to break himself out of the single-seater trap and construct a sports car career, and it looks like it's going well for him at the moment, pressing the leader, who is still Mike Hazelmans. Welcome back to Oschersleben. The race continues, round 8 of the FIA GT Championship. The battle for the lead is a fierce one in the opening laps. Now 7 laps. The Conrad Celine that started on pole position has been monstering the Force One Festina Viper that took the lead from the outside of the front row, and a great move. We see it from inside and outside as Walter Lechner Jr. catches Mike Hazelmans by surprise, dives down into the S as he hadn't shown his nose there before to the Dutch driver and caught him napping there, dived down the inside. Thomas Erdos thought twice about going through into turn 8 and 9, trying to get the move done as well. Let's have a look again from the outside. Classic copybook stuff. Hazelmans turning in, realizes that there's a Celine alongside, and look at Erdos really trying to buccaneer his way through there into second place. Hazelmans just running wide in the corner over the curb there, blocked that access route for the Brazilian, but a great move by Lechner to get in front. NGT leader is Bertolini's Ferrari, the JMB racing car. Stefano Telli now up to second place in the class, from 5th on the grid, ahead of Darren Turner in the 88 Team Maranello Concessionaires Ferrari, which had been running second early on to this one, Andrea Bertolini. Also raced in the Mosport American Le Mans Series race, along with Mauro Baldi in a development car for the Ferrari Works operation, trying to develop the 360 GTC for next year, which will replace the current 360 Modena. And a nice little story there. Andrea Bertolini, last time he worked with Mauro Baldi, before that he was a mechanic on Baldi's 333 SP 7 years before. 19 laps into round 8 of the FIA GT Championship. Mike Hazelmans in second place, and Walter Lechner Jr. running away now in the lead of the race. Finally squeezed past Hazelmans on lap 7. A dozen laps later, and he is better than 14 seconds away. And down the inside of Thomas Erdos goes Jamie Campbell-Walter, finally fed up with following the Graham Nash Motorsport Celine. He moves up into third place. He knows that they are losing so much time, stuck behind Mike Hazelmans. He's got to get by or risk losing this race beyond redemption. Lap 29 in heavy traffic. Jamie Campbell-Walter still chasing, gets his nose in front of Andrea Bertolini, the NGT leader, just squeezes in there at the 180-degree left at Hasselrode. In front of him, Mike Hazelmans taking it 3 wide through the traffic, and somebody kicking up the dirt there in avoidance is the other JMB racing car. And there, the number 16 Ferrari also being lapped once more. That's the Kaufmann, Grimm and Bilieri car. Not one of the ProDrive built 550s that the BMS Scuderia Italia and Care Racing organisation are running. And Campbell-Walter through that traffic as you see the NGT battle developing behind. There is the NGT leader there, pricing a Porsche second, and the red car with the pale blue Cambridge blue stripe on third place. That's Darren Turner. Here is Stefano Telli at the helm of the Pricing and Motorsport Porsche, rocking and rolling over the curbs as he loves to do, chasing the lead in the class to keep his championship lead alive. Ready for pit stops, and the lead Ferrari in the championship, the points leaders, Thomas Biaggi, Matteo Bobi in the pits. Thomas Biaggi started the car, Matteo Bobi doing the second stint. Away goes the BMS Scuderia Italia car, and here's Biaggi.
Okay to be on the podium, or you really want to win and nothing else?
No, we like to win. We are here to win. We don't like to arrive second. Second is nothing for us. So we are pushing to make first of all point and then also to win.
Thank you.
Looking very hot after a stint, very hard work out there for the drivers. It's ceaseless cornering, cornering, cornering. The 2 straights are very short indeed, certainly no respite. 23 car then, points leaders, but not looking like a podium finisher at the moment. Lap 44, Jamie Campbell-Walter brings the second-placed Lister Storm in to hand over, in fact, the third-placed Lister Storm, of course, behind the Conrad Celine and the Festina Viper, to hand over to Nathan Kinch.
I made a good start, and I managed to outbrake the second row into the first corner, but I think we were 3 abreast, I don't really know, and I was on the outside, so I think it was Alio hit my left front wheel and caused some damage to my car, and the wheel's not straight, so I think there's a lot of understeer. We've got a lot of understeer, so
in fact, Jamie was in second place at that stage. The Festina Viper had already stopped. Then the race leader came in, the number 2 car, Walter Lechner Jr., handing over to Swiss Tony Seiler. And tyre change, but everything else looking normal.
Hard. I was really pushing every lap. It was like a driver qualifying 1 hour through. And the car worked really well. Just in the last few laps, I got problems with the front tires. The left front went off, so I had to reduce the speed a little bit. Also, it was getting more difficult with the traffic because it was so much sand out of the track. But I'm quite happy I put the car in front into the pits, and I think we are still leading. So I hope Tony's making a good job, and maybe we can win this race.
Well, they make it through the stops, no problems. Number 2 car still running very strongly. Lap 64 and problems for the Conrad Celine. Smoke from the left front corner. It's a loose wheel. The car slowing as it's passed by the Fia GT runners, and Tony Seiler, Swiss driver Tony Seiler, bringing the car back towards the pits. Retaining wheel nut, holding it on, but not tightly enough to be able to drive at a competitive speed, and he must make sure there's no damage to the car. It's going to cost them enough time in the pits as it is. At this stage, it's Jamie Campbell-Walter leading as he heads into the pits. In fact, Anthony Kumpen has just passed Nathan Kinch for the lead in the GT class. And for the first time all year, the Festina Force One number 5 Viper actually made it into the race far enough to need a pit stop. It had not actually had a race pit stop at any stage in the previous 7 races. Such had been their bad luck. So there is the first and second placed picture. There is the number 5 car as the Conrad Celine still stuck in the pits with that wheel hub problem, and any chance of victory now surely gone. Number 5 leads number 14. Between them is the Ferrari, but it's not the 23 car, which is in 3rd place. Off goes the Celine, leaving another big broad stripe across the pit apron. But it's Anthony Kumpen, Belgian driver in the number 5 car, that leads the race. He's starting to ease away in little increments from teenager Nathan Kinch in the number 14 at Lister Storm. But what's this on the front stretch? He should not be pulling over to the right and onto the grass. Trouble for the race leader yet again. The bad luck of the Festina number 5 car comes back to haunt them. Well, they made it to the first pit stop, but they may not make it to the second one.
The brake caliper on the right front broke, so I had heavy vibrations. I had no more brakes, so I wanted to stop on the track because it was dangerous to get one more lap. But they wanted me to get the car back in. But now Mike is he stopped at the end of the pit straight.
So brake caliper braking, and the number 5 car struggling. And that allows Nathan Kinch back into the lead of the race. Matteo Bodi second in the 23 Ferrari. Philippe Alliot and David Hallyday third in the number 4 Festina car. Fourth, the 22 Ferrari of championship second place men Capillari and Golin, ahead of Verdenro and Zadra in the Auto Sportif. 100 laps into round 8 of the FIA GT Championship. Race leader is Jamie Campbell-Walter. Ahead of him, Philippe Alliot's Force One Festina Viper, just about to go a lap down in third place. In the NGT category, the Bertolini JMB Racing Ferrari 360 Modena has now passed Jamie Davis in the Team Maranello concessionaire's car for the NGT lead. Tim Sugden's MK Racing Porsche in third place. The second of the TMC cars, Team Maranello concessionaire's car, in fourth. And the fifth place car is the Freisinger Motorsport car of Stefan Ortelli and Mark Lieb. In the GT category then, Jamie Campbell-Walter leading. In second place, the 23 car, the Ferrari of the championship leaders, Biaggi and Bobby. And in third place, the number 4 Festina car. Fourth place is Verdenreux and Zadra's Creation Auto Sportif Lister Storm, the blue car. And in fifth place in the category, the number 21 car, Lilian Brilla, Enzo Calderani and Stefano Livio's Ferrari 550 Maranello. And Campbell-Walter stuck behind the third place car. This is not a battle for position. Philippe Alliot trying to defend his position. Campbell-Walter pressing on in the lead of the race, got a decent advantage, but you never can tell, especially when you're a Lister driver, when bad luck may strike you in terms of mechanical damage or some bit of debris flying through and taking the roof off and nearly your head with it. And then on lap 100, this on the pit straight, contact between Campbell-Walter and Alliot, and Alliot's Festina Viper thrown into the air and into the pit wall. Hard impact, spun several times back across the track. Alliot quickly out of the wreckage, but a major impact and an immediate and obvious safety car situation. The damaged car on the outside of the track concerns perhaps over Philippe Alliot's health, immediately dispelled. He's okay, if somewhat dismayed, startled and furious. And let's see what happens again. Campbell-Walter clearly away from Alliot, comes across to the driver's left, makes contact with the rear end of his car, the nose of Alliot's, and Alliot's car hurled up into the air, into the barriers and across the track. Well, a frightening looking accident. Philippe Alliot mercifully unhurt, nobody else injured in the incident at all, but the safety car scrambled. And with the car badly damaged, certainly the requirement to get the safety car out to clear up some of that debris. Debris had been a factor already in the race a couple of times, and a lot of it down there. Jamie Campbell-Walter's Lister looking remarkably undamaged, nothing hanging off it, nothing flapping about. And he continues to lead the race, didn't spin, hadn't lost any track position as a legacy of that shunt. But he's driving through the debris and sees the damaged Viper, and with a sharp driver's eyes, must know what car it was. He undoubtedly will have felt the impact with Alliot. So take a look again. Campbell-Walter on left of picture, moving across. Contact between the two of them, tail to nose. Alliot speared across the track, bang! The force of it throws the car bodily up into the air. That's an awful lot of car to be reversing the direction of and giving it takeoff. That's a huge amount of energy there. 260 km/h impact. Alliot obviously with no chance even to get on the brakes. The car just snaps sideways from the barrier right there. Now he gets it stopped, he's off the racetrack, keeps his wits about him. Safety car is out, and Jamie Campbell-Walter making sure he does not overtake the Ferrari behind him. Ferrari should be way, that is in front of him on the racetrack, but behind him in the race. Ferrari should be way by the safety car. It's not Jamie's job to pass it. Philippe Alliot furious, shaking his fist at Jamie Campbell-Walter, and now he's watching the replay. That's a chance for him to see it for the first time. Well, I won't translate those comments for you, but Philippe Alliot was obviously voluble on the subject. I let him go past on the line, and after he went past, he came into the middle of the track, came offline to hit me. It's suicidal. I mean, it's really irresponsible, unacceptable. So I don't know what we can do. I mean, this dreadful thing has happened. We lost third place. It was going to be fantastic for David, for me, for our team, exceptional. And unfortunately, the car is completely destroyed. I could have been extremely badly injured. I think you look at the TV pictures again now, it's quite incredible. You think you're dreaming. I let him go past and he comes into my car. I let him pass. I think they should take his driving license off him forever. Well, Campbell Walter, as the race is restarted, leading. Behind him is the Bobby Verdon Rowe Creation Auto Sportive car that at that stage was in third place, but a lap down. Problems for the number 10 JMB Racing Ferrari, lap 113, front left wheel, and it's locked solid. A brake seizure, clamping the caliper firmly onto the rim, so it's not turning at all. Of course, the motive power still pushing it on, and look at that. Doesn't look at all good, absolutely locked solid, and that punctured tyre will very soon be worn through as he tries to get the car slowly back to the pits. Lap 118. Tim Sugden has just dropped down to fourth place in the NGT class in the last few laps. It's being led by the 52 Andrea Bertolini, JMB Racing Ferrari, and the T2 Team Maranello concessionaires Ferraris are second and third in NGT. Sugden down to fourth, but still ahead of the Freisinger Porsche of championship leader Lieb and Ortelli. In the GT class, Jamie Campbell-Walter leads. Behind him, the 23 Ferrari. That is the BMS Scuderia Italia car of Thomas Biaggi and Matteo Bovi, the championship leaders, getting closer to the title, and Bobby Verdon Rowe in third place. And look at this, the two Graham Nash Motorsport Celines running nose to tail. Thomas Erdos' car in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place, and the Portuguese car in 8th place. Behind Erdos, on the road and in real life, is the yellow Conrad Celine there. Franz Conrad doing the last stint. But Biaggi 18.5 seconds back, so unless there's a real drama for the Lister Storm on the last lap, it will be victory, and the second one in a row for Jamie Campbell-Walter and Nathan Kinshoff. They claimed the first win for a non-Ferrari, a non-BMS Ferrari indeed, of the season, last time out a fortnight ago at Anderstorp. Last lap then for Campbell-Walter. Now 4 Lister Storms racing, of course, the 2 black Lister Storm team cars, and then the blue and blue Creation Auto Sportive cars. And Bobby Verdon Rowe following Jamie all the way. Former teammates, former sparring partners, in and out of the same teams over the years. A lot of history going back between the two of them, and pretty much all of it good, I have to say. Well, Campbell-Walter must be hearing all sorts of weird noises now. He's had another freaky and controversial race with that incident with Philippe Alliot. Alliot certainly very much of the opinion that it was all down to Jamie Campbell-Walter. Looking at the pictures as he turned left across from the racing line and caught Philippe Alliot's car, you certainly see where Alliot is coming from. Of course, why he did that, why he moved across off the racing line as he comes up to catch Tim Sugden's MK Racing Porsche, remains to be seen. Tim Sugden sharing with Emmanuel Collard. The car just a little running out of legs in the closing stages of the race, but no such problems to Jamie Campbell-Walter. Across the line he comes to take the checkered flag for the second time in succession, and right behind him Bobby Verdon Rowe on the podium in third place in the number 6 car, and a good strong race from them. Qualified 9th, raced up to third place. In between them, a Ferrari, of course the BMS Scuderia Italia Ferrari, the number 23 car of Biaggi and Bovi. The NGT winner also a Ferrari. The Team Maranello concessionaires cars second and third, but it's the Pirelli shod JMB car of Andrea Bertolini and Fabrizio Di Simone that will claim NGT honours here. And the Freisinger Motorsport Porsche behind, well, it's a lap back in 5th place. So Ferrari, 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 then MK Porsche, Freisinger Porsche, and then the Eurotech car of Mike Jordan and Mark Sumter in 6th position.
The race was great, the car was great, and everything like that was good. It's very unfortunate to see someone have an accident like that. And from my point of view, you know, I'd spent 2 laps behind Erdos trying to lap him. And, you know, from when you're leading the race, you're meant to receive 3 blue flags and move out the way. Neither Tommy Erdos or Philippe Alliot decided to do that. In fact, Alliot decided to defend his position. And as the leader of the race, it's infuriating. I was going down the pit straight there, and there was I thought I was past him because I knew he lifted off to let me pass because he indicated, so I presume I was past him. And there was a small bit of debris on the track, and with all the debris around here, it's very easy to have a puncture. So I slightly moved to the left, thinking I would avoid the debris on the track, and obviously we touched. And I didn't know anything about it until I came round the next time.
Well, the stewards considered the incident long and hard, and I'll read you exactly what they said. They decided to exclude car number 14 from the classification of the race. The reasons: on the straight line after overtaking car number 4, hit it, forcing it into the pit wall and causing an avoidable accident. The manoeuvre put at serious risk the driver of car number 4, the people working to the pit wall, and the officials. Engine and driver have been informed of their right to appeal, and I have no news yet of whether the Lister team have or have not appealed. But as it stands, there was no podium ceremony, and the number 14 Lister Storm was excluded. So too, incidentally, the number 2 car.
We have a lot of chance now for winning this championship. I just say, I think Cameron Walter is very crazy, and I think he's really stupid.
So number 2 Conrad Celine also excluded for dangerous driving during the safety car period. But the BMS Scuderia Italia team celebrating because they get the victory, and that puts Bobby and Biaggi a shoe-in for the championship. Lilian Brinner, Enzo Calderari, their teammates, in 2nd place. Capogliari and Golin slipped down to 3rd. Ortelli and Lieb leading still from Jamie Davis. Fabrizio Di Simone closer to him. Andrea Bertolini too. Tim Mullen and Tim Sugden next up. So that's the action then from the FIA GT Championship, and hopefully by Friday evening in the Super Racing magazine we should have a little bit more for you. Next round of the LG Super Racing weekend at Estoril, October the 4th and 5th, Saturday and Sunday, of course, with the Formula Renault V6 on Saturday, touring cars and GTs on Sunday, and my birthday on the following Tuesday. Hooray. So well, more recrimination, I'm sure, before Friday night. Join me for Super Racing Magazine Friday nights, this Friday, September the 26th, 20:30 CET, 7:30 on British Summer Time. Join me then. Until then, from me, Martin Haven, good night, goodbye, have a good week, bye-bye.